So you're thinking about getting yourself into your own business and you've decided to take what you feel is the safer route of going into a franchise, which, congratulations, I think is a great route if you don't have a huge amount of business experience or you want to leverage off of somebody else's system. However, you're stuck and you're wondering what is the difference between a professional services franchise like becoming a business coach versus a trade type franchise where you might do lawn mowing or renovations or something like that. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the differences between the two types of franchise to help you make the decision for yourself. Hi, I'm Ben Fewtrell, co-founder of Maxmyprofit and the Business Acceleration Blueprint. What we do is we work one-on-one with business owners to help them build the business they imagine. So I may be a bit biased because I'm on the business coaching side, but I value both of these different industries, and I'll talk you through a little bit about what I feel the differences are with these two. So let's start with our trade-based business over here. You're going to need usually a van, truck or something, or some equipment that you're going to have to lease. Now this means that you're going to be leasing some equipment that may be somewhere between $50,000 to $250,000 depending on what you need. And that will become a liability for you. No matter whether you have work or not, if you have a truck on lease, you will be required to make the repayments. Now, in the professional services field, so as a business coach, there you work from home. So you've already got a house that you live in. You work from home, so there are no additional costs for you there, unlike when you work in this field here where you need this van or truck. Alrighty, my next one is over here. Use another colour. As a trade, you typically get paid by the hour. You're paid by the hour. Okay, so as a tradie type business, you go on site, you start the clock. When you finish, you log off and you get paid by the hour. Not always, but in most cases, it equates to an hourly rate even when you quote a job up. Over here in business coaching, typically you get paid by the month. Okay, by the month, and it's based on a return for your customer. Okay, so if you position your customers really well, they'll know they're not paying you by the hour, and instead what's happening is they're going to be paying you for a return on investment. So in the beginning in business coaching, when you get a client, typically you'll work a little bit harder, but as time goes on, you'll work a little bit less with them because they learn how you're going to coach them and how you're going to work with them. So it works a little bit differently. All right. Next one. All right, this is a big one that I think a lot of people overlook. Is in a trade type business, quite often you'll need a qualification. Not all of them, but a lot of them you will. Okay, you'll need a qualification, and typically it's a trade qualification that can take a bit of time to get. Over here on the business coaching side, at this point in time, there is no qualification required. No qualification. So you can start as a business coach tomorrow and off you go. Now I would recommend doing some training and some learning, but it's not going to take 4 years of TAFE to become proficient at business coaching. In fact, most people within their first year will really learn how to coach by doing it on the job. But that is a huge difference between the two, is that you need a qualification if it's trade-based and no qualification required if you're coming into the business coaching industry. All right, so the next big difference between the two that I think is a really important one to point out is that here you get reoccurring income. Reoccurring income. So in the business coaching space, when you bring a client on board, typically you'll bring them on a monthly retainer and they'll pay you a monthly fee for continuing to work with them and help them in their business. As opposed to on this side over here, as a trade services business, is you're always hunting for new business, okay, for new work. Because once someone's rung you because they've got a problem, you go, you fix the problem, that's it. They're not going to keep having the same recurring problem on a consistent, predictable basis. In business coaching, your clients will expect you to be there on a weekly, fortnightly or monthly, depending on the programs that you offer, to be there, and that means that you've got recurring income. Now, the good thing with that is if you bring on 2 new clients this month, 2 new clients next month, and you do this for 6 months, at the end of 6 months you'll have 12 clients, at the end of 12 months you'll have 24 clients, etc. In this one here, if you bring on 2 clients this month, next month, if you want to grow your business, not only have you got to bring on 2 new customers, but you've got to bring on extra as well. Okay, so that can be quite a demand on people to have to continually hunt for work. This one here, you've got the recurring income, so a really valuable difference between the two there. So my next one that I've got for you is over here. When you hire people, they need to be skilled tradespeople typically, okay? Skilled tradespeople. So if you're finding that you are good at the marketing side and you're picking up a lot of work and you want to grow your business, in this side, you're going to have to hire people that are skilled tradespeople, and that means that they've had to have been to TAFE before or going to TAFE as an apprentice. As we're in the business coaching space, you can pretty much hire whoever you like as an assistant to help you out. Or even if you wanted to grow your business and put other coaches on to help you look after all your clients, you can hire anybody that you like and you can train them up. Okay, so rather than having to look for it. Now the reason why I bring that up, in particular in this day and age, is that skilled tradespeople are getting harder and harder to find. And so if you're going to go into a trade-based franchise, that's something that you need to consider, is that finding tradespeople is really difficult. There's less and less people of the younger generation that like working with their hands, they like working with their minds, and we are in the information age, and that's why things like business coaching are such a growth industry, because people are loving working with their minds rather than with their hands, and it makes it easier when it comes to recruiting. And the final one that I've got for you is one that's close to my heart, because I hate sitting in traffic, but if you are a trade-based business, typically you'll be mobile and you'll be stuck in traffic a lot of the time. Now, depending where you live, I live in Sydney and the traffic is horrible. There's no other word for it. It is horrible and I hate being stuck in it. This type of business coaching, you might think to yourself, well, I've still got to go to clients. What we have found in this industry is that the less you go out and about, the more efficient you are and the more you can see your clients using online tools. Okay. So I know people who work from a home office as a business coach that never leave the house to work with their clients, and in fact, quite often they'll be in their pajama bottoms or tracksuit pants because the clients never see it. They only see the top half of them because they're using a camera for conference calling. Now there are times when it's ideal to go out and see your client, but you can pick those times. You're not having to work throughout the entire day to make your business successful. A trade-based business, quite often you'll be stuck in the road and it's unpredictable as to what time you'll be there, and that can eat up a lot of your time. If you're stuck in traffic for 2 hours a day, which is very, very likely in Sydney, not unheard of at all, then that is 12 hours a week that you don't get paid for, because you don't get paid when you're sitting in traffic. So there you go. So there's just some thoughts. I'm sure you can come up with some other comparisons there, but that's my side-by-side comparison. So business coaching, work from home, by the month return rather than by the hour. You don't need a qualification. Get the reoccurring income. I think that's a big one. If you look at most successful businesses, they rely on a recurring income. You can hire anybody, so you're not restricted by having to find professionals that are trained in a particular trade, and you can use all the online tools to help you deliver your coaching services, meaning you don't have to be stuck in traffic in whatever city you live in. If you go into a trade-based business, you are going to have to make an investment in a van or truck, or possibly a premises, and that means having a lease, and a lease is a liability that you're stuck with even if you don't get sales, right? So if you have a tough month, the bank is still going to want their money, and you're going to have to pay those bills no matter what. You're typically paid by the hour, so clients expect when you are in a trade-based industry that as you deliver your service, you get paid by the hour. And this means it's limited, because people only pay you so much per hour depending on the industry, and you've only got so many hours to trade for money. You'll need a qualification quite often in these trade-based franchises, and it means that if you haven't got the qualification, that will straight away exclude you from being a part of it. You'll be constantly hunting for work, because it's not typically recurring work, not in all cases, but in most cases, trade-based businesses are hunting for work all the time to keep sales coming in. If you're going to hire people, you need to look for people that have a trade certificate, skills, maybe other endorsements, etc., to use elevated work platforms, or it could be forklift licenses, or confined spaces, dangerous goods, etc. As where there's none of that over here in the business coaching space. And then finally, if you are on the road in one of these trade-based businesses, one of the things that most people don't think about is the fact that you will spend a lot of your life sitting in the traffic. So if you hate traffic, probably not the best way for you to go. Anyway, if you are considering buying a franchise and becoming a business coach is something that appeals to you or interests you, I encourage you to go to maxmyprofit.com.au, click on the About tab, and there you can learn about becoming a business coach, or what we call a business accelerator, as a franchisee in the Maxmyprofit business model.